Alright, here we go. I've almost completed my game. It's called Station Master RPG, and I thought for playtesting it, I'm going to take you with me as I play it and do that kind of, developer plays their own game kind of video. So, here we are. Let's just get right into it with a new game. There's a little dialogue popping up here. I would be glad if you could read that before playing it for the first time. And then we're able to prepare our new game. First you choose a station name. Let's just use something Japanese. I thought Shikenmachi wouldn't be bad. So next we have our character, which we can also customize. For example, we can give him our own name. I'm just going to call him Jeff for now. Then there's some options here. You can have two different body types, which is basically male or female, and some different faces. I personally like this one, so let's just choose this face. And as a haircut, I think let's just go for the pink one. You can also choose different colors of your shirt and your trousers. I'm gonna keep the uniform. You can also, by the way, having been naked, same goes for the legs. But well, let's keep it serious here this time. Good. Here's our Jeff now, and with that all configured, we can start our new game. Okay. So when you start a new game, you get that little introduction pop up here, which basically tells you that you're now in charge of this station and the first train stops here at 5 PM and your task is now to prepare it for the first passengers. Good, we got that. And there's also a little tutorial popping up here telling you that you can rotate the camera. And by the way, there's some performance issues here, but that's actually not a problem with the game itself. It runs smoothly normally, but my laptop doesn't really handle running this game that well when having a video recording going on at the same time. So we just have to live with that for this time, but it usually runs smoothly, as you can see now. So next step is to prepare the station with some furniture. We have to add some lights and the power switch, as well as some benches and a station name sign. Good, for that we enter build mode. Maybe zoom in a bit, and there's our lag back again. Sorry for that. So let's start with lighting. At the start there's just one type of lamp that's unlocked. I would say we place one to the left here and one to the right, like so. And then they're hanging from the ceiling. Well, there's actually a roof here, so if you go to the second floor you can see the roof, but it doesn't appear if editing the first floor, so it looks like they're hanging off from nothing, but there's actually a roof, so don't worry about that. Good, then we need a power switch, which is conveniently just next to the lamp, and we place that anywhere in our station. Let's just use this spot here. Looks like a good spot for a light switch. And then going into play mode, we can actually use it, so we can turn off the lights with this light switch, as you can see, if it wouldn't lag that much. This works. You can turn on the lights and turn it off again. Good. Next up are the benches. Those are in the equipment tab. There's some other stuff that's already unlocked, but we need the bench now. So let's place some benches. I guess here on the right is not a bad idea for some benches. Like this. Let's just place two at the start. And last is the station name sign in the railway tab over here. So we could already place some track now and add some more platforms, but we don't need that now. And we don't have that much money to spend currently. So let's stick to the protocol here and build a station name sign. So, and there it is. And with that, that tutorial step is completed as well. So our next instruction is just to wait until the passengers arrive, and we can also use the timescale buttons here in order to skip ahead. By the way, here's our station name sign, so it actually reflects your station name as you've entered it at the beginning. Good, so let's skip ahead using the skip mode button here. So, as you can see, this is fast forward mode now, so you actually walk faster as well. Good, now it should stop automatically because the first passengers are going to approach very soon. Yes, it did. And so we go to the next instruction. The time has come. We have to get ready to dispatch our first passengers, since they are here anytime now. We have to check their tickets at the ticket gates and sell new tickets at the counter. The counters, by the way, over here. Good, so first passengers arriving, you can already see them. Let's go and greet them. And yeah, by the way, you can move freely, so you're not limited to your station, but you can actually go everywhere you want. Though there's not really a lot to see currently, since the town didn't develop that much yet. So, here's our first passenger. Hello, what's your name? Oh dear. Not really interested in talking to the station master, it looks like. They are now waiting at the ticket counter until I sell them a ticket, so let's just do that with space. That worked, and now they move to the ticket gate where I have to dispatch them as well, like this. And as you can see, there's like that stat bar on top of their head. That's basically their patience. So after a certain amount of time, they'll just give up waiting and go home again. So you should make sure that you dispatch your passengers in time. Good, currently we have 6 passengers waiting for the first train. That's about to arrive here soon. Let's just skip ahead a little bit until it arrives. Here we go. That indicator here tells us that there's a train approaching. And rotating the camera, we can see that there's actually our first train. So here's our first train. And their passengers are alighting. Good, let's dispatch them as fast as possible so they don't have to wait, and off they go. Did anybody use the benches yet? I don't think so. Well, maybe they'll use them tomorrow. Good, and there's the train heading off. So, and that was actually our first day. And as the train disappears in the distance, there's a pop-up message appearing that informs you that the last train has departed, so you can just press here in order to skip to the end of the day. The end of the day is at 3 AM, and if you reach that time, there's a summary of that day. As you can see, we did have some expenses today, which was of course our benches and lighting and stuff. So that's why we have a negative result today, but our service degree has increased by a bit, so that's a good day, I would say. Pressing continue, we already have our first level up with some new unlocked stuff, like for example some new train services being operated on the line, as well as a clock, a wall lamp and a vending machine. And we also got some subsidies from, you know, the city. That's quite nice, I guess. And next up is the schedule editor that's popping up automatically at the beginning of every new day. This is where you can choose which train stops at what time and also on what track, if you have more than one track at some point in time. There's an explanation to the left here because it's a bit hard to understand first time you play it, but I'll just explain it real quick. So we have stopping and passing trains. We currently have just one stopping train, the one that we dispatched just before, and there are 3 passing trains, of which I'm going to change. Well, let's just change all of them into stopping trains now, which you do by selecting them here in the passing trains container. For example, this one, clicking it once, and then I can place it somewhere. So let's say we want to have it stop here, so that it departs at 7 AM, and now it's being turned into a stopping train. We can repeat that for all the other trains as well, so let's just choose this one and put it here. And the other one, I want to move it to the evening, so we have 2 trains in the morning and 2 in the evening. So we get a bit more of an even schedule. Let's choose it and then place it here at, let's say, departure of 5:30 PM. Good, so we have 2 opposite trains in the morning and 2 in the evening, and that's our schedule today. With that done, we can apply that and save our game. So let's just save real quick, and then we can start with the second day. So as we can see in the departure display down here, the first train will depart at 7 o'clock, which means that passengers will arrive here roughly half an hour before that time. So you can safely skip ahead a couple of minutes. Let's just use the skip mode again, and that did stop automatically as soon as the first passengers are about to arrive. We get 6 passengers again this time, but that number will actually increase as your population increases as well. The population, on the other hand, increases when you have a good service degree and also good safety degree, but the safety degree isn't that controllable apart from providing enough space on platforms. At least currently. There are other features planned that will give you more control about your station's safety degree. Good, so first passengers arriving. Let's skip ahead just a little bit more. Right, here they are. And then we just dispatch them again. Oh, and by the way, I forgot that we have unlocked some new items. And oh look, somebody's sitting on the bench now. You can actually join them by pressing space here, so you sit on the bench together with your passengers. Kind of weird, but you can do it. So here's our first train. Good. So as you can see, there are already a bit more passengers than on the last day, and that's a trend that's going to continue. So the basic concept is that if you have a good service rating or a good overall station rating, your passenger numbers will increase since the population of the area around the station also increases. As you can see here, we have a positive trend indicator. So our population will get higher and higher over time, which, as I said, results in higher passenger numbers as well. But that's actually all for part 1. So if you're interested in this game, I'd be glad if you could add it to your wishlist on Steam. And if you want to watch more of these videos, subscribe to the channel and leave me a thumbs up. Right, and with that said, I thank you very much for watching this video today. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.